It was a chilly Friday night when I found myself making an unexpected trip to Walmart. I needed to grab some last-minute groceries for the weekend, and the store was my go-to option for late-night shopping. As I entered, the bright fluorescent lights illuminated the empty aisles, and a sense of solitude hung in the air. I quickly grabbed a shopping cart and started making my way through the store. Since it was late, there were only a few other shoppers scattered around, and it felt eerily quiet. As I navigated through the aisles, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Every so often, I caught glimpses of a man out of the corner of my eye, seemingly following me. I dismissed it initially, thinking it might be a coincidence. However, as I continued my shopping, I noticed that no matter how many times I turned corners or changed aisles, he was always there, lurking in the shadows. Panic started to set in as I realized that this was no coincidence. This man was definitely following me. I decided to approach a store employee, my heart pounding with anxiety. I explained the situation to them, and they agreed to help. Together, we walked through the store while the employee kept an eye on the man. The stalker eventually realized he was being watched and disappeared into the depths of the store. With the employee's assistance, I managed to finish my shopping and make it to the checkout counter safely. I couldn't help but wonder what that man's intentions were. To this day, the memory of that eerie Walmart encounter still sends shivers down my spine, and I'm grateful for the vigilant employee who helped me escape a potentially dangerous situation. It was a regular evening when I decided to stop by Walmart to pick up some household essentials. I made my way through the store, grabbing items from my shopping list, and everything seemed perfectly ordinary until I found myself in the electronics section. As I browsed the shelves, contemplating whether to buy a new gadget, a sudden, distorted announcement blared over the store's intercom. It was unlike any announcement I'd ever heard, completely unintelligible and eerie. The voice seemed garbled and distorted, and the words were impossible to decipher. I wasn't the only one taken aback. Shoppers around me exchanged puzzled and alarmed glances. The announcement continued, with the voice growing increasingly unsettling. It felt like something out of a horror movie, and I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The announcement persisted for what felt like an eternity, though in reality, it was only a few minutes. Abruptly, it stopped, and the store returned to its usual bustle. I approached a store employee to inquire about the bizarre announcement, but they seemed genuinely confused and claimed not to have heard anything out of the ordinary. To this day, I can't explain what I heard that evening, and the memory of that strange intercom announcement still sends chills down my spine whenever I think about it. It was a chilling experience that left me with an eerie sense of the unknown lurking in the aisles of Walmart. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon, and I decided to take my 2 young children to Walmart for some shopping. As we strolled through the store, my kids, aged 4 and 6, were naturally drawn to the toy aisle. The colorful displays and endless options made it a favorite spot for them. As we browsed the toys, something peculiar happened. My youngest child, the 4-year-old, pointed at an empty shelf and said, "Look, Mommy, the little girl wants to play." I was taken aback because there was no one else in the aisle, at least not that I could see. My child continued to have a full-blown conversation with an invisible friend, giggling and chatting as if they were playing with another child. I tried to rationalize it, thinking it was just an overactive imagination, but it was uncanny how detailed and vivid my child's description of the little girl was. My older child even joined in, talking to their unseen sibling. The entire experience was a mix of adorable and eerie. Reluctantly, I ushered my kids out of the toy aisle and continued our shopping. But the memory of that strange encounter has stayed with me. I can't help but wonder if there was something supernatural happening in that Walmart that day, and I still can't explain the inexplicable presence my children seemed to interact with. One evening, I found myself at Walmart, engrossed in my shopping list, and unaware of the peculiar incident that was about to unfold. I had my phone resting in the cart as I perused the aisles, checking off items one by one. Suddenly, amidst the hum of shoppers and the ambient store noise, I heard my phone ring. It was an unusual ringtone, different from the standard one I had set. Surprised, I picked up my phone and answered the call, expecting to hear a familiar voice on the other end. However, All I heard was static, strange distorted noises, and an eerie echo. Confused and a little unnerved, I said, "Hello?" A few times, but there was no response. The unsettling sounds continued, and it felt like I had stumbled into a Twilight Zone episode. I hung up and checked my call history, but there was no record of an incoming call or any indication that I had received a call at all. It was as if the call had never happened. Shaken by the bizarre experience, I quickly finished my shopping and left the store. To this day, I can't explain what occurred that evening in Walmart. The phantom phone call remains a haunting mystery, and the feeling of eerie unease lingers whenever I recount the story. It was a chilly winter evening, and I needed to make a late-night trip to Walmart for some essentials. The store was relatively empty, which was unsurprising given the time of day. As I finished my shopping, I made my way towards the exit, pushing my cart loaded with groceries. As I stepped out into the dimly lit parking lot, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. There, beneath a flickering streetlight, I saw a shadowy figure. It was a tall, lanky person, dressed in dark clothing, and their face obscured by a hood. This figure appeared to be watching me. At first, I tried to dismiss it as a fellow shopper leaving the store, but as I continued walking towards my car, I couldn't shake the feeling of being followed. The figure stayed at a distance, always maintaining a careful distance from me. Fear began to creep in, and I fumbled for my keys, glancing back to see if the shadowy person was still there. They were, and it seemed as though they were deliberately mimicking my movements. Panic surged through me, and I knew I had to act fast. I made a sudden turn, abandoning my cart, and dashed back into the store. I approached a store employee and explained the situation, my heart pounding. They immediately called security and offered to escort me to my car. As we returned to the parking lot with security in tow, the shadowy figure was nowhere to be seen. The security personnel assured me that they would monitor the area and suggested I file a report with the local authorities. I hurriedly loaded my groceries into my car and left Walmart, feeling a profound sense of relief, but also lingering unease. To this day, I can't explain who that shadowy figure was or what their intentions were. The experience served as a chilling reminder that even the most mundane errands can take a terrifying turn, leaving a lasting impression on my sense of safety and security. It was a warm summer afternoon, and I decided to stop by Walmart to pick up a few items I needed for a weekend getaway. The store was bustling with shoppers, and I maneuvered my cart through the crowded aisles, grabbing what I needed as I went along. As I reached the checkout lanes, I noticed an abandoned shopping cart nearby. It was piled high with various items, seemingly forgotten by its owner. I thought it was strange, but people occasionally changed their minds and left items behind, so I didn't pay it much attention. I completed my purchase and headed towards the exit, pushing my cart full of bags. As I made my way past the cart that had caught my eye earlier, something about it struck me as odd. Upon closer inspection, I realized that the items in the cart were a peculiar mix of products: a child's bicycle helmet, a box of diapers, a bouquet of flowers, and a few cans of dog food. My curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to ask a store employee if they knew anything about the abandoned cart. The employee seemed puzzled and explained that they hadn't seen anyone leave the cart behind and that it had been there for quite some time. Feeling uneasy, I glanced around the store, wondering if the owner of the cart had become separated from it or had encountered an emergency. I decided to alert store security, fearing that something might be wrong. Security personnel arrived and reviewed the store's surveillance footage. To our surprise, the footage revealed that the cart had been left there by a person who had appeared disoriented, moving erratically through the store, and seemingly talking to themselves. They eventually abandoned the cart and exited the store. The store's management decided to contact the local authorities to check on the situation further. As I left Walmart, I couldn't help but wonder about the mysterious person who had left behind the cart full of such disparate items. It was a perplexing and unsettling encounter that left me with more questions than answers, serving as a reminder that even routine trips to the store can sometimes lead to eerie and inexplicable mysteries.